Hey guys, welcome. Episode 9 of the Money Show. Just a few things. It is Tuesday, so welcome. Hopefully, everybody's off of work, kind of decompressing. We're almost to the middle of the week. I want to start off by asking y'all, because it's pertinent to the show. And if you're in the replay gang, let me know in the comments what debt are you currently working on to get rid of? Because this is important. Debt is kind of like a theme in today's kind of events. We're going to talk about just some economy housekeeping notes of the current events that are going on. Then we're going to talk about Las Vegas's economy looking like it's crashing. And this is like a spot test site of what could possibly happen in other places in the country, especially if you live in a touristy area, which I do. So I'm paying attention to. And then 2008 housing market with the twist. Is it among us? So back to the question of what debt are you working on currently to get rid of? I have something, and that is I'm getting rid of a $5,000 predatory second mortgage that I have. Asking me how I got into it, I am not sure. But when I bought my house about 8 years ago, I had a second mortgage as part of a program, and it was fine. Now, that mortgage was sold somewhere about 2 years ago, and ever since it was sold, this balance is not going down. It's been $5,000, even though I make a payment every month. So I'm like, I need to get out of this. That's what I'm focusing on right now. So as far as like housekeeping current events, I kind of want to talk about how the guardrails are definitely gone nowadays at the start of 2025. Some indicators that they're gone is that the Magnificent Seven stock is all of them. There's 7 of them. They are all down year to date. This graph here on the left, the black one, is showing that like you can see the trend. They started pretty high. Well, not high, but like from left to right, they're all down. And I think this is the first time in a while that this has happened. Also, US ports are empty comparatively to last year. So how that's going to affect us as far as like shelves, the goods that we're used to having, mainly from China, they're not coming in the ports anymore. So that's definitely going to be a consequence. Another thing that we need to talk about is that consumer confidence is down, like it has been in 2020. But the difference between 2020 and 2025 is that there is no disease that we're dealing with. We are not dealing with a pandemic anymore. So if consumer confidence is down, it's got to be because of everything that's going on. Job openings are the lowest since September 2020 as well. That's this graph over here on the right. Like job openings were its highest like 2 years ago, and now if you're looking for a job, the companies aren't posting any job openings, and that is possibly consequential. Hey Chadwick, good week. Yes, so far it's been a pretty good week. This is my weekend right now, so I'm just kind of chilling. And one thing that deserves its own slide is that Amazon was planning on sharing their tariff pricing. It was an attempt for there to be transparency, because if you buy something for $30 on Amazon, it would normally be that pre-tariff, but now it's $45. Amazon was going to put like $12 of that was because of tariffs. And apparently the White House got wind of that, and they were like, that's not good. So I think it's been since called off, but we will find out, I think, for sure tomorrow, because that's when Amazon is doing a financial update on its business credentials and numbers, and they're going to let us know if that's indeed true or not. But I think it's interesting because it's showing people in real life why things are more expensive. And if Amazon is thinking about this, I wonder if other companies are thinking about it too. You know, like just your everyday places that we go shopping, Best Buy, Target, Walmart, if they're going to include tariffs in the pricing, kind of to like skirt responsibility that, oh, they're just price gauging us, right? Then the next thing I want to talk about was Las Vegas, because apparently the economy over there is crashing. And the ultimate reason for it is that they have accumulated too much debt. So when you think of, you think the transparency would be nice? I am not the best typer. Would be. When you think about, I transparency is always a good thing. Honesty is always a good thing. So I am not mad at it. As far as Vegas is going, pillars of Vegas are like, it's fun. There's gambling, there's sin and debauchery, and there's great weather. I have been to Vegas probably like 10 years ago, and I had a good time, and I didn't really gamble. But there are other things to do other than gamble. The problem is, year to date, the tourism has been down. Internationally, 19% is down, and domestically, 7% is down. So even Americans aren't going to Vegas like they used to. And part of the problem is that the casinos do not own the buildings anymore. And that's what I learned in doing my research about it. Because when I heard that Vegas wasn't doing well, it alerted me, because I live in a state that is highly tourist heavy in Florida. All three sides of the peninsula, like, it's very tourist heavy. We have cruises, we are vacation spots, blase suave. So we kind of have a similar economy like Vegas would. So it turns out that the casinos that we see in the Strip, the last 10 years, they've all been sold out. They've been sold to expand. And what they do is they sell the real estate. So the building they no longer own. And now they have very large rents to pay. And they've been chasing that rent. So the cost then is transferred to us, the tourists. So parking is really a big deal over there, apparently, in Vegas. Gambling, they're making it more expensive to gamble. Drinks, because if you don't gamble, you probably should at least drink in Vegas, right? Restaurants, I can imagine. And then the thing that's really killing them is resort fees. And I could understand being upset if I went to Vegas and I found out that on my tab from the whole vacation was a bunch of trumped up fees. So I think the lesson for us is that we need to get rid of debt, which is why I asked y'all earlier, what debt are you working on currently to get rid of? Because debt really does steal like your life experience and your quality of life. Exactly. Like, oh, wow, I had no idea. I thought they own all their buildings. Exactly. I didn't know either. So I actually did pictures. So this picture, this is the Palazzo. This one up here, I forgot which one. Actually, let me see. Maybe it's on the next slide. It's not, but Caesar's Palace, the Palazzo, MGM, the one here in the green, they aren't owned anymore by them. So if they don't own their buildings anymore, there are reasons where they sold them to expand. And I put that in parentheses, but I honestly think that a lot of people at the top just got that money. And their theory is that it will allow them to focus on operations, like the business of owning the casino and making it better, which theoretically sounds good because you can just focus on the business. But if the people who own the real estate can just take advantage of you and charge crazy, always increase your rent, you're always going to be chasing it. And those huge rents are going to be hard to pay. And that's why parking, that cost is just transferred to us. Parking is ridiculous. Drinks are ridiculous. Restaurants are ridiculous. And I would be mad too. And I'm not coming back to Vegas. And this is where touristy places find themselves in trouble, because who suffers? I put pictures here. These people suffer. That was a major bad business decision. Yes. When you don't own your stuff, it takes away all your power. The lender, the lender has the power, and the debtor is the one that's not. Trucker Air says casinos usually don't own their buildings. They usually rent from. But that wasn't always the case. Like that is happening now. But 15 years ago, they owned their stuff. And now we're seeing the consequence, because the performers suffer, service and hospitality suffers. Vegas is a big place for conventions, for work. Then people suffer because they're not going to bring their conventions there anymore. And so the job security just decreased significantly, because I work in, I'm a server here in Florida, similar, but not exactly the same. But my boss has told me the most expensive seat in the restaurant is the table that's empty. So if you have empty seats for shows and empty tables at restaurants, that means less hours and no hours. So I think this is a cautionary tale. Get rid of that debt, but whatever debt you have, because we are definitely going into a lean season, which is going to be the next topic. And it's going to be a ricochet, right? Because listen, if all these people here in these pictures don't have jobs, they can't spend elsewhere for their homes, for their families, for fun. It's just a domino effect. Yeah, I'm in Florida. I don't know how this is going to affect. What is the housing market looking like? It's looking really bad. particularly in Miami, single family homes, if you bought them a year ago, you lost value already. And condos, which I'm in, I've been losing value for the last year, going on 2 years. So yeah, it's really bad. Speaking of losing homes, I also saw something where they're like, is 2025 the new 2008? It's not going to be exactly like 2008 because those people were approved for loans that they had no business being approved for. But in this situation, the PITI, which is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, has been increasing 2 to 3 times for homeowners, particularly the taxes and insurance, because the P and the I stays the same, right? But what we are seeing is a trend going from the banker who gets you into that loan at 6 to 7%, right? To the insurer who gets to charge whatever they want because the government has said you have to have insurance. You have to have insurance if you have a car, and you have to have insurance if you have a house. So they can charge whatever they want, or they say they won't insure you. Then I put the politician because you pay taxes, and that's done by your state politics. It won't be nowhere as bad as 2008. I hope you're right. But what do you do when you keep getting priced out, when your insurance and your car goes up and wages are not going up? That leads to that last part, which is a bankrupt person. So I could see it being bad because at this point, it's not going to be like 2008 where the sheriffs are knocking at the door saying you got to get out. But I could see it being at people are just going to walk away because I'm not going to go paying $2,300 to $3,500 to $4,500. I'm just going to cut my losses and walk away. As far as mortgages are concerned, rates are not necessarily going down anymore. So I did this little graph here. January is almost at 7, then it went down to 6.75, and in March it went down to 6.45. But in April it's 6.89. So does that mean it's going to go up? We're going to see in May. So then logically you're like, oh, I'll renegotiate. But the thing is, you can't. Because the rates are higher today, and I put 7% than they were a few years ago, which is 5. I'm at a rate which is under 5. It's not 1 or 2%. I wish, but I have a decent rate. Let's see. I wish it would be, but even so, let's take your situation. It won't be bad if you plan on living there. Sell it. True, I see what you're saying about the insurance. Yeah. Insurance scares me so bad, y'all. It really does. And I put that here that that's a big reason for selling my car, because I knew when I sold my car, even though I'm carless right now for a little bit, I got rid of that insurance bill. And it's not like it was the most expensive, but it wasn't the cheapest either. So that's all that money. That's like $200 I get to keep for myself to plan and kind of buffer myself for the future. Now, as far as insurers, policies are up 24% from 2021 to 2024. This is why I'm talking about, like, they're squeezing people out. There's no oversight for insurers because all 50 states say, per the legislator, you have to have insurance. But taxes, new construction is on the buyer. Yeah, they're going to get got. The new construction people, they are going to get got, because I've seen that where it was only on, I think, the land, but not the property, or the other way around. So yeah. Then when I do talk about taxes a little bit more, it says high home values are increasing the tax bill. I'm going to see. Yes, I hate paying insurance. My best friend hates taxes. I don't mind paying taxes, but I hate paying insurance. I'm going to see how this pans out, because my value of my condo has gone down. So I want to see if my tax bill goes down, because theoretically it should, right? But I'm honestly waiting for them to be like, oh, but there's an exception now. Things are just so expensive. It either has to stay the same, or we're even going to increase it, even though my value is going down. So I saw like a YouTube video, and they were saying you can make them prove that homes are selling for that price that they say it is. And one way you can do that is go to like your state, it's really your city, and show them like your house isn't updated. Like you can show them proof of how your home is, and show them that you're basing it off an updated home. So let's say your value comes out to 900,000. You can say, I'm really at 700,000 because my home won't sell as it is. And I think it's worth trying. But the thing is, that takes a lot of time, and not a lot of time do people have freely. Chad is saying the average home insurance. Yeah, that isn't bad. But in Florida, I think it's double that. But yeah, if it was $1,200, it'd be fine. I just don't think it is. So like, what are people doing? Like walking away? You can think, okay, I want to walk away, right? I'll just sell. The thing is, no one's buying. Realtors are quitting because no one is buying. There have been less realtors in Florida, California, Texas, and North Carolina. And if y'all remember in 2020, those were the places that were booming. People were moving to Florida and Texas from California because it was so expensive, and New York. So even if you wanted to sell, you might not be able to sell your house because especially if you live in these crazy areas, because these people aren't foolish. They know that these houses are a lot more expensive than they should be, and they might not be able to be houses that are insured and houses that the lender will even give a loan on depending on other issues. So that's why I think it's really important to have a lien, to prepare for lien years 2025 into the foreseeable future, because rainy days are guaranteed to happen. And right now we still have a little bit of sun, right? So some things to like prepare for is to try to get our debt as low as possible. If you can get it down to zero, that'd be nice, but I know that's not easy for a lot of people. As well as low as possible overhead expenses, and then investing when you're allowed, when you can. Because I don't know. I agree, Chad. It may not be as bad, but it feels like people are going to walk away versus being told to move by a sheriff. Because if I sign on for a house for $2,500 and then you tell me it's $4,500, that is not sustainable. And there's no, I guess, relief in sight. And this country is moving into a situation where it's like there's no guardrails, there's no safety nets, and that's fine. But people are just not going to be safe. That's it, y'all. What do y'all think? Do y'all think that it's smart to get rid of debt, or everything's going to be okay in the end? I don't know, but learning about Las Vegas, learning about kind of what things are going on in niche economies, I think kind of might tell a story what's going to happen. And everything hasn't fallen quite yet. We're going to need some time to see from going from one administration is to the other. But we're only 4 months in now, and I could see us getting a big surprise in the next 12 to 24 months. Thank you as always for hanging out with me. The last two people, you guys came a little late, but that's understandable. Catch the replay, and I will see you guys next week.